Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's special discussion. I'm your host Maruf, and joining me, as usual, and as I've been become a broken record at this point, is T.
Your boy, Mr. T.
Kicking off this week, we got more info on Isabelle on Monday about the website states.
Number 68, Isabelle. Isabelle joins the battle from Animal Crossing New Leaf. She uses various trinkets from around the village to battle. Fishing Rod not only allows her to snag and bring opponents closer, it's a recovery move.
It's certainly a mechanic that I wasn't expecting myself. This is basically Zero Suit Side B, except it's a command grab and doesn't have an actual hitbox.
It's pretty insane, actually.
Considering how good her normal recovery is, it's basically Villager's recovery with a tether recovery on her side B. I really do wonder what the design philosophy was for Isabelle when Sakura was deciding about her recovery.
Just fishing rod.
Yeah, pretty much. Other than that, I don't think we have much to say about Isabelle since we already covered a lot about her in the previous week's special discussion.
Have too much new things about her moveset. Different angles from it and different ways it can be used.
Yeah. Well, another thing that we got with her on Monday for this week was her memory pause, which, again translated by Source Gaming, says, "Today's memory 68, Isabelle. Her first appearance was the 2012 title Animal Crossing New Leaf. She sports the newly appointed mayor player as her secretary. The townspeople adore her, and she always provides very helpful advice." Everyone adores her. It's because Isabelle only appeared in New Leaf, the most recent Animal Crossing title, and just after one game she's the face of the series.
I had no idea she was made in 2012.
Yeah, that's quite recent. It kind of reminds me of how you got Robin and Corrin from the most recent Fire Emblem games, because they only appeared in one game in the series. It's not like Zelda where you have Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf recurring within all the games. You could kind of correlate it to Final Fantasy, how each Final Fantasy title has its own protagonist.
It's true, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think much else to say about Isabelle. Well, I guess we should move on to the next day then.
Today's item, horns and a large shovel. Shovel Knight. With his trusty shovel, he can bury an opponent to the ground or throw rocks as he digs. He may even dig up some food.
In Smash Bros., especially when you look at his images on the website and even on the footage that we got from the 8th August Direct, his character model looks like it really belongs to the game. He doesn't look like an assist trophy at all.
Imagine people just taking this exact model and putting it on like Toon Link or something.
Yeah, when mods become active for Smash Ultimate, people would most likely put his character model over to Link. Another thing that I can see is that if they ever did create an OC mod for Shovel Knight in Smash Ultimate, they could use his moveset from Rivals of Aether.
Actually really interesting, yeah. The same frame data and everything.
Overall, it's really surprising to see Shovel Knight. He's not even Japan, he just made it into Smash as an assist trophy.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it shows that Sakurai will really broaden his horizons with things he wants to add to the game.
Alright, so moving on to next day. I know this week's going a bit too fast since it's covering a lot of stuff that we already knew about. So on Wednesday, we got a new music track.
Today's music. You can now check out Happy Home Designer title theme. The arrangement by Kazumi Totaka, a staff member from the original game.
So with this music, I actually have a bit mixed opinion on it. I think the main instrument is an electric guitar and then you've got the drums in the background. I don't think the drums are trying to keep up the hype the guitar is trying to go for.
Is it just too like over the top and kind of off-putting?
You could put it that way. It's a bit hard to explain, but TLDR, I like the guitars that are used or the guitar that is used, but I don't like the drum at all.
I personally don't really like it too much. I can see the appeal of it, but like, I don't know, I wouldn't really see myself play during a match in Ultimate.
The more interesting thing is that the arrangement has been done by Kazumi Totaka, or Totaka, I know I pretty much butchered the name, who's actually quite well known even in the gaming community because of its own song being the Totaka song.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I almost forgot about that.
I believe the most recent when we heard about the tune itself was in Mario Kart 8, where one of the Yoshis hummed the tune. Alright, so on Wednesday, another update besides the music being the stage, being On It from Earthbound, debuting since Melee, about which the website states, today's stage, On It. Ness's hometown has a drugstore in the middle and houses on either side. Watch out for cars entering the stage from the right. They can hit you for 30% damage.
It's the most helpful life tip. I had no idea it did 30. I know it did a lot, but
I'm more concerned about the big board in the middle of the stage that says DRUG.
oh, you can't say that word. I personally do like this stage a lot. It's probably one of my favorite.
Yeah, this is one of the fun casual stages. I actually do wonder what the stage has a turned off version would be. Would it just be the same sans the cars?
I hope that would be legal. I mean, maybe not.
There's no way this would be legal even without the cars because A, you've got the walk-ups on both sides, and B, the layout, it helps the characters that have vertical combos.
I see, yeah, that is true.
Characters whose combo game is more horizontal based, they don't really benefit off of this stage, and considering you've got mini vaults at the yellow house on the left side and the blue house on the right side, people could just basically tech out of your combos.
Oh, there's lots of various tech here.
But yeah, stage has a turned off version. I think it would be just the same stage minus the cars on the stage. And Omega, we know it's just the drugstore stretched to be like a fun destination with walls below it. And the battlefield would also be the same with the 3 platforms above the main stage.
Oh yeah, of course.
So yeah, moving on to the second last day, which covers Ganondorf.
Ganondorf. His new design matches his appearance in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now he uses his sword for all of his smash attacks than he was before, but his Warlock Punch is devastating. For his final smash, he transforms into Ganon, the Demon King.
I really like that they went with the Ocarina of Time design. It's kind of weird to see that Ocarina of Time is the overrepresented Zelda franchise in Smash Ultimate, because not only do we have this version of Ganondorf, we also have Young Link and sort of Sheik, because Sheik only appears in Ocarina of Time, but her design is based on the Sheikah costume Link gets in Breath of the Wild. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but overall you got Young Link and Ganondorf representing the OG Ocarina of Time period. So overall, from Smash 4 to Ultimate, his smash attacks are just actually sword attacks, which is really, it's really hard to believe that they actually did it.
I really love the changes they made for him.
His forward smash and up smash are basically Ike's up smash, and his down smash for whatever reason is a slower version of Cloud's down smash.
It's really weird, but I mean, it's nice to have this change, you know?
Yeah, overall, if you compare him to his Smash 4 counterpart, I think he's overall been buffed a lot. The only move I'll miss about him from Smash 4 would be his up smash, to be honest.
I agree, his up smash. And they nerfed his up air a little bit. I'll miss that bit too.
Considering how in Smash 4 the up air is kind of not broken, but if you time it right and you get the very last hitbox of it, the knockback angle is super disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It's just crazy. It's like wow.
Yeah, and it also jab locks. But then in Ultimate, jab locks are already gone, and if it really is nerfed from Smash 4, we'll see how it goes for the rest of his moves, because overall his landing lag on aerials have been severely reduced.
That's right, yeah, they have.
Overall, it's actually kind of nice to see that Sakurai and his team are trying to declone Ganondorf, or trying to make Ganondorf more different from Captain Falcon ever since his debut in Melee.
I know that his up tilt is now faster and has less end lag, and is supposedly punched, including dealing more damage and knockback.
Oh yeah, that's good to hear actually, because his up tilt in Smash 4 was basically useless, or maybe if you want to style your opponent and get a really hard 2-frame punish.
That's true.
Because he already has a lot of really good shield break punishing moves, or just moves that he can basically one hit KO with if the opponent is like at what, 20-30%?
That is true, yeah.
In Smash 4, most players, including myself, just go for short hop reverse warlock punch whenever we get a shield break on someone.
True, yeah.
So yeah, moving on to last day of the blog, and good to see that the Friday posts are actually back after being absent for 2 weeks. So on Friday, we got another fighter being Pikachu, about which the website states, today's fighter, Pikachu. This fierce fighter uses electric moves like Thunder Jolt and Thunder. Pikachu Libre is one of the alternate costumes, and you can tell she's female by the shape of her tail. I think it was in Gen 4, since Diamond and Pearl where they started differentiating the genders in Pokemon. So that's actually good to see that now finally in Smash as well, you're getting more female counterparts of the male characters.
I really like that a lot. I'll definitely be using the female one. I think I'll use Libre.
I'll just stick to the green headband one that's based on Emerald. But overall, based on the inputs top players have been given, especially a huge shout out to Esam. He's been covering Pikachu a lot, and I highly recommend watching his videos and his thoughts on Pikachu because honestly, my thoughts are basically one to one with Esam. He's basically just way more broken than he was in Smash 4. Now, not only does his down air spikes, his neutral air is basically Mewtwo's nair from Smash 4. And in the demo builds, his thunder kills way too early. His combo game is just ridiculous. However, with Pikachu, again, I highly implore you guys to watch Esam's videos because he does a way better job in explaining how Pikachu theoretically could very well be the best character in Smash Ultimate once Smash Ultimate releases. But yeah, before discussing Pikachu's memory, I also want to repeat that again this week with Ganondorf, it seems that they don't really want to give villains their memory posts.
That's right, yeah.
Well, so with Pikachu, again translated by Source Gaming, today's memory, Pikachu. In Pikachu's debut game, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, it can be caught in the Viridian Forest. In Pokemon Yellow, the player receives Pikachu from Oak and will follow the player. The reason why you would want to go for yellow than red or blue was that Pikachu would actually follow you or your character behind you.
Yeah, in the game, if you want Pikachu to love you quicker, you can actually feed it potions, and even if it's already full, you can just spam potions and the game will think it's loving you. You can build up your friendship like the moment you get him. Just keep pouring in that food, just keep giving it to him, alright? Just keep giving it.
Anything else you want to say about Pikachu?
Pikachu's cute.
Oh yeah, he's definitely cute. He's cute and deadly.
Wow.
Alright, so normally with last week, we normally would have been finished by now, but since you must have noticed that this video is a week late, I also decided to cover this week's updates as well, since last week's discussion turned out quite, you could say, quite short. So I decided to merge this one with this week's updates as well. So moving on to this week's Monday update, we got a brand new assist trophy, being the moon from Majora's Mask, which on the website says, today's item, assist trophy, moon. From The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, this assist trophy will appear in the sky and slowly approach the center of the stage. When it hits, it deals a lot of damage to opponents nearby.
The third picture just...
Oh yeah, the third picture is just pure nightmare fuel. But overall, I like this inclusion of the moon being this trophy in Smash, but this actually raises a question. What about the moon on the Great Base stage from Melee?
It would be really cool if it began to interact with the player, if that were the case.
I see, so what you mean is that the same moon that you see in the background, that very same moon is the one that interacts with you on the stage. Imagine just having two moons zooming in towards the stage. Also, it's one of those assist trophies that also hurt or also damage the one who used the assist trophy.
I think it's cool that he's an inclusion, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Or it. Well, if you guys who are listening to this discussion or even watching to it must have noticed that this week's update has been quite, again, bare bones or quite boring in terms of competitive play as last week. So moving on as fast as usual, I suppose, is onto a character being an Echo Fighter, Lucina, about which the website states, today's fighter, Lucina. Lucina is Marth's Echo Fighter, so she shares most of her standard and special attacks with Marth. However, while Marth's attacks are more powerful when made with the tip of his blade, Lucina's attacks are just as powerful whether you use the tip or the base of the sword. So Lucina, great to see her come back from Smash 4, being one of the original Echo Fighters, you could say, from being Smash 4 alongside Dark Pit. I remember before Smash 4's release, a lot of people gave her flack for inclusion, being just like, oh look, it's just a random a character who just took up a slot. But overall, as time progressed, a lot of people really liked Lucina in Smash 4.
Yeah, she's very consistent. She's very consistent in gameplay. She won't let you down. She just does what she's made to do.
You don't really have to keep distance or zoning in mind as much as you'd want to keep it in your mind when playing as Marth. Since Marth has a tip on his sword, or the Falchion or Falchion, I don't know how it's pronounced in the main game lore, his sword actually has more range due to the tipper, but Lucina's sword actually has slightly less range.
Her one has more base damage. If you're really good at Marth's tips, then go for Marth.
I really like that she's finally back in Ultimate as well. Unfortunately, she, unlike Marth, isn't playable in the demo builds of the game, so there isn't much we could really judge about her or changes in Smash Ultimate. The only main difference that we do know about is that all of the dancing blades in the game, Marth, Roy, and Lucina, even with Chrom, but even though Chrom is a newcomer Echo Fighter, all of their dancing blades are drastically different than in prior games.
There are a few things I know about Lucina, the obvious things that we know about her, like aesthetics and stuff.
I guess she's not necessarily more expressive, but she's more true to her character like she was in Fire Emblem Awakening.
I actually just found out that her jab can't connect into tilts or F smash anymore, even at high percents. I'm assuming that's for Marth as well, though.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first things that was actually discovered when players were playing as Marth in the demo builds of Ultimate, where his jab 1 doesn't connect or doesn't really... you can't really go for jab 1, F-tail, jab 1, grab, jab 1, fair, whatever you want to do. And overall, because jab cancels in Ultimate aren't as much reliable as they were in Smash 4.
That is true, that's very true, yeah.
So moving on to Wednesday, and on Wednesday again, music, and oh my Arceus, the music is so good.
I know, right? It's so amazing.
Especially considering last week's music, which is also included in the start of this video. This music is just, honestly, I should actually read the text. I'm just super hyped just listening to music. The text says, today's music. You can now check out Battle Steven. Whether or not you struggle with Steven's Steel-type Pokemon, you're sure to enjoy Soshi Abe, or Soshi Abe's arrangement. And before we head over to the music, I really want to talk about the composer. And what's really interesting about the composer is that one of the most interesting things is that how horribly I butchered the name. But it's that this seemed to be like a fresh face in the music industry, or at least it seems so, because prior to this music, they have only worked on the DLC for Zelda Breath of the Wild. But now over onto the main music. My goodness, when I first heard it, I'm like, wait, is this some Guitar Hero music? Steven is the champion that you have to fight after beating the Elite Four in Gen 3, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, although in Emerald I think you face Wallace instead. I think I'm wrong about that? I don't know.
Maybe, because for me, Emerald was my very first mainline Pokemon game, and I think you fight Steven, but I may be wrong. Overall, this music is in all of the 5 games.
Yeah, it is. One of my favorites, though. One of the things I liked about Emerald that I'll give it credit for is that I actually really liked the Elite Four theme. So when I came across the Elite Four, I was like, oh wow, it sounds really good. And then when I heard Steven's theme, I was like, beep, really Pokemon?
Relatable. I also like how in the text it says that whether or not you struggle with Steven's Steel-type Pokemon, it's that even though if you're necessarily not prepared for the battle, the music was still hype enough for you to just have a nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
Alright, so on the same day, we got the stage update being Brinstar from Melee and Smash 3DS as well, because we know, yeah, we all know that the 3DS stages and all of the content in 3DS is just so, not forgettable I should say, but not many people in the community know about the content that the 3DS version had. So about which the website states, today's stage, Brinstar. This stage is an underground cavern on planet Zebes from the Metroid series. Although the rising and falling acid at the bottom of the stage can deal severe damage, touching it when you're falling off the stage can actually help you recover. Well, you mean I can actually recover by going to the floor?
You mean when I hit the acid, my opponents won't just edge guard me and kill me? Wow!
I like the redesign it got, especially from 3DS or even from Melee, because if you compare the Melee version to the 3DS version, they're actually quite alike to each other.
It also looks quite simple on the eyes. I wonder how this would look with hazards off.
I can see like 3 possibilities. Either there's no acid, either these parts in the middle are just permanent, or either neither the acid comes up and nor can these parts be damaged. But with the Omega and Battlefield versions, that's just normal typical. But anyhow, moving on is a brand new item being Death Sight, about which the website states, you can KO highly damaged opponents with a well-placed smash attack from this sight. A black aura will surround your opponent right before you attack, signaling an instant KO.
My face is the Koopa card.
The Koopa card in the second image. First of all, it's really good to see more Castlevania representation in the game, but excuse me, Death Sight?
It's like, it's such a hardcore weapon for Smash, you know?
I'm kind of concerned, would this actually affect the age rating of the game?
I actually don't know. If it comes out as 12, I will be very surprised.
Like, I get the functionality, it's not something brand new, because previously, at least in Smash 4, Bayo's Final Smash actually killed you, or basically just took your stock in place if your damage was above 100.
Yeah.
And I'm super surprised that they used Nest to demonstrate the weapon's functionality.
Just a little boy. It's really weird.
The little boy who's just homesick, just wants to just call his parents. Nope.
He's just taking it. Just taking it like a champ.
Alright, so on to the last day of this week being another fighter, Lucario, on which the website states, today's fighter, Lucario. Lucario is the only fighter whose attack power increases as it takes damage. A fighter that truly shines when in a pinch. Choose Lucario for a thrilling battle. With Lucario, the character description does confirm that his aura mechanic is still back in the game. And with Lucario again, unfortunately we still don't have, or since he's not playable in the demo builds of the game, we can't really say much about him.
I know of a few new things about him, or changes they've made to him. He increases F smash range.
Yeah, S-Smash, especially in Smash 4, considering how much startup lag it has, it's good to see that at least it has more range in Ultimate.
His Aura Sphere has less ending lag, and Aura Sphere travels slower. His extreme speed goes slightly shorter of a distance.
No more extreme speed shenanigans.
Team counterattack activates faster. I don't have to worry about you perfect shielding my counter.
I was actually thinking, or at least hoping, that they kind of made it how Shulk's counter works, because Shulk's counter literally goes through your shield. So the only way to avoid his counter is to have intangibility by either like spot dodging or rolling.
Or just be Bowser and up smash.
No, I think Shulk's counter has even more priority than the block hitboxes. I may be wrong, but I should actually test that.
His aura color is slightly lighter, which is nice.
So yeah. Also, another thing that we should have discussed a bit earlier, but I guess we can do so now, are the memory posts for Lucina and Lucario.
Today's memory, number 21. Lucina. Appeared in the Fire Emblem Awakening in 2012. She came from the future as a mysterious warrior wielding the parallel Falchion, and introduced herself by the name of a hero from the past. This is my first Fire Emblem game that I played, so sort of resonate with her in a good way, which makes me happy.
I can completely understand. Awakening was my second Fire Emblem game after Sacred Stones because Nintendo forced me to play Fire Emblem Sacred Stones due to the 3DS Ambassador program. It's actually a really good Fire Emblem game.
I agree.
Even though it kind of created a split within the Fire Emblem community, because now after Awakening there are like two splits within the Fire Emblem community. You've got the newcomers from Awakening, like how you mentioned that Awakening is your first game, like how they usually prefer the new waifus and just the casual stuff the game has.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you've got the Fire Emblem fans who've been playing Fire Emblem since the original, not the original, but technically the 7th title in the series, but the first one in the West.
With the GBA, right?
Yeah, but the one on the GBA. It's not called the Blazing Sword here in the West. It's a Japanese title whose subtitle when translated translates to Blazing Sword or Blazing Blade.
Oh, I see.
And interestingly, all of the Fire Emblem characters have their games one way or another released worldwide globally. Roy's game has never been ported or even re-enhanced, or there's been no sort of a global release for his game.
Oof.
So that actually makes me wonder, is Roy still going to keep his Japanese voice in Ultimate?
That's a fair point, because if they made it English, it would just be like, why would they do that now, you know?
Yeah, but then in Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game, all the characters already speak English.
That is true, yeah.
And this is a bit different than how the Fire Emblem characters are treated, but I still wonder, is Cloud still going to just Genkai wo Koiru every time?
I wonder that as well.
Yeah, just give this man an English voice. So yeah, that was Lucina's memory post, and then on to Lucario's memory post.
Number 41, Lucario. 12 years on this day, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl went on sale. Aura to sense their movements and thoughts. Understand human language.
And then we have ...
Diamond and Pearl remakes!
Oh yeah. For me, Diamond was the second mainline Pokemon game that I played after Emerald. In terms of story at least, the game was actually really good.
I agree. I think Platinum was improvement because they sped up the game considerably and they added so much, not just content, but they added so much things that just made it more smoother and everything.
Especially with the inclusion of the Distortion world.
I think the Gen 4 games were at least a good gateway for new Pokemon fans like myself.
So yeah, this was these past 2 weeks updates on the Smash Bros. Ultimate blog page. I hope you guys enjoyed this not really special, but special discussion of those last 2 weeks updates combined. And I think I'm kind of lucky that I actually skipped last week, considering how, again, bare bones this week's updates were. with last week, sure, we had Isabel, like at least in terms of competitive perspective, we got Isabel. Yeah, sure, Isabel side B is a tether. Okay, let's go Zero Suit Isabel.
No, I just imagine Isabel in a Zero suit.
And then we got Ganondorf. Good to see his buffs he overall got in Ultimate. And then with Pikachu, I know I don't really have that much to say about him. Just go watch Isan's video. Whatever his opinions are, I just agree with whatever he says. And I guess aesthetically, Pikachu, I guess, looks more not as thick as he used to be. And he also now faces mirror similar to how Mario and Luigi do. And then on this week, we got Lucina and Lucario, the blue duo. So yeah, I can't make promises for another week, but I'll see maybe if I can actually make this like a dual week series. I'm not sure how people would react, or you guys in the comments could let me know if this type of format is what you guys would actually like from me. But otherwise, until next week, but until next time, or whenever next time I upload a special discussion, I hope to see you all then. Goodbye.